We all have a story to tell. At one point in our lives, we have all failed. This is my story he wants me to tell. I was living a life headed straight to hell. At one point, I didn't believe because I was so deceived. But one night, I was about 13. Little did I know, Jesus was about to intervene. That night, I laid in my bed and prayed for God to show himself to me. Oh boy, did he open my eyes to see. Then I closed my eyes and had a dream. I suddenly awoke full of tears because I knew I needed to be redeemed. I remember that dream plain as day. I was so amazed, not one word I could say. See, I dreamed Jesus stood at the foot of my bed. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I knew that he was real. I can't explain how that made me feel. At that time in my life, I was full of anger and hate, but God showed me that his love was great. I woke up from this dream crying because I had been very bad. In that moment, I knew that I heard Jesus and he was sad. John 10:10 tells us that the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy, but that Jesus has come that we may have life and we may have it to the fullest. See, I thought that my life was falling apart at 13 years old. I thought my life was so bad that it was not worth living. My parents had been through a divorce. I had moved to a new school, and my aunt had just been murdered. I had felt that God was not real. I remember a conversation that my older brother and I had a few months earlier about suicide. He told me, "Do you think if someone kills themselves, do they go to heaven?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "I think they do." I told him, "You're probably right. But the truth of it is no, none of us know. That's only God knows that answer." But this night I was so sick of my life, I thought about killing myself or even running away from home because I hated my life that much. That night I thought, well, I will give God one more chance. And if he didn't reveal himself to me, I'm leaving one way or another. I lay down to go to sleep and prayed as my dad has always insisted on us doing before we went to sleep. As I prayed, I told God, if you are real, reveal yourself to me. I went to sleep and this big bright light appears at the foot of my bed. Out of the light comes this man. To me, it was Jesus. I remember crying in my sleep and didn't want to wake up. I woke up with tears running down my face. That night, God saved my life. Too many times in our lives, we go through something and we think we have to carry the burden. Ladies and gentlemen, our Creator is wanting to carry our burden to the cross for you, but you have to be willing to give it up. Jeremiah 29:11-13 tells us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." After this night, I was very different. My whole outlook on life had changed. A few months later, God put it on my heart to become a pastor. I had run from this calling on my life for a long time because I was not willing to do what Luke 9:23 tells us. Jesus tells his disciples in Luke 9:23, if you want to become my disciple, you must die to yourselves, pick up your cross daily, and follow me. I was not willing to die to myself. I wasn't willing to die to what I wanted to do for what God wanted me to do. I'm working on a degree currently in biblical studies, and this past week I have learned that to do God's work, you must know your identity. Many people find their identity in their families, their friends, or even in the things that they do. A Christian's identity must be in God. In the first chapter of the Bible, Genesis, we learn that God made mankind in his image. That means that God is where our identity is. You must be asking yourself, well, I know who God is, so I'm already doing this. But let me tell you who God is and what our identity is. The Bible tells us in 1 John chapter 4, verse 8, loves me. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. Love means many different things to us. Like some people would say, I love sports. Or some people that would say, I love food. Or I love my family. This love that God is means so much more. God's love is unconditional, meaning that you cannot earn it or get it in exchange for something. This love is sacrificial. Jesus came to show us the love of God through Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection. We can be confident that God's love is stronger than death. I want to leave you all with this thought. If love is just a feeling, you will fight until you don't feel like doing it anymore. Start with something greater, something that will last forever. Love is so important. In the NIV version of the Bible, the word love is used more than 551 times. I want to encourage anyone, if you face suicide or if you do not know what your identity is, open the Bible and read it. God tells you everything that you need to know. He reveals himself to us in two different ways, through his word and through our testimonies. So, please, if you need something, Jesus is the answer. Thank you.